It is a Saturday afternoon in early June. You just spent 2 hours behind the mower, and for about 10 minutes, that front yard looks like something. Clean lines, even color, edges trimmed. You put the mower away, and you feel pretty good about it. Then Wednesday comes. You pull in the driveway, and there they are. Dandelions standing up like little yellow flags right in the middle of the yard. Crabgrass creeping out from the edge of the sidewalk. By the weekend, you are looking at more weeds than you had before you cut. So you mow again, a little shorter this time, figuring you will buy yourself a few extra days of peace. And the weeds come back faster than ever. My friend, I watched half my neighborhood fight that exact battle for 30 years, spraying, pulling, mowing, shorter and shorter, and losing a little worse every summer. But here's the part nobody at the lawn store will ever tell you. Those weeds are not showing up in spite of the way you mow. They are showing up because of the way you mow. So stay with me all the way to the end, because the whole thing comes down to one specific thing sunlight does to the top quarter inch of your soil, and once you hear it, you will never mow your lawn the same way again. I'm Garry Strickland. I'm 63 years old. I spent my working life as a carpenter, and for better than 30 years, I've kept the same quarter acre in the same Midwest neighborhood. Most of what I know came from my old neighbor Earl, a World War II veteran who had the thickest lawn on the street and nothing in his shed but a rotary mower and a coffee can of grass seed. These days, mine is the lawn folks slow down for. Now, pull up a chair and let me tell you something. When the weeds show up, most of us do what the store trained us to do. We drive down to the garden center and we come home with a $40 jug of weed killer. And that jug does its job, more or less. The dandelions you sprayed curl up and die. But next month there is a fresh crop, sometimes thicker than the first. So you spray again, and you buy another jug next spring and the spring after that. The jug treats the weed you can see. It does nothing at all about the opening that let the weed in. Earl put it to me plain one evening over the fence, back when my own yard was half crabgrass. He said, "Son, a weed is not an invader. A weed is a tenant. It only moves in where there is a vacancy. And the way most of America mows, we are hanging a vacancy sign on every square foot of our yards every single week without knowing it. Now I will come back to what that vacancy actually is down at the soil line, because that is the part everybody gets wrong, and it is the reason the spray never wins the war. But first, let me walk you through the 3 mowing mistakes that hang that sign, because odds are you are making at least 2 of them. Before we get into them, everything I am showing you today, the heights, the numbers, and the reasons behind them, is written out plain in a little book I put together called The Old Ways: 50 Forgotten Lawn Secrets from America's Greatest Groundskeepers. It is 104 pages of the small, cheap, patient tricks the old fellas taught me over 30 years, written down before the men who taught me are all gone. Mowing the way the old groundskeepers mowed has its own place in part 2, right alongside watering deep and rare and bare spot fixes that actually take. The book is $17, marked down from $47. That is $17 one time against a $40 jug of weed killer you buy every single year for the rest of your life. That's the kind of math the catalog stopped doing for you. Now go ahead and grab your phone and open up your camera, the same one you use to take pictures. Point it at that square code on your screen and hold it steady for a second. A little link will pop up, give it a tap, and it will take you straight to the book. And if you are watching on your phone right now, the link is waiting for you right down below in the description. Take your time. There is no rush at all. I'll wait right here. All right, my friend, mistake number 1, and it is the big one. You are mowing too short. Almost everybody is. Walk down any street in cool season grass country on a Saturday, and you will see mowers set at 2 inches, sometimes lower, shaving those yards down like a golf green. And I understand the thinking. Shorter cut, longer before it needs cutting again. But a blade of grass is not hair. A blade of grass is the plant's food factory. That green blade catches sunlight and turns it into food. And that food is what grows the roots down deep where the moisture lives. When you shave a lawn down to 2 inches, you are tearing most of the factory down every single week. The plant panics. It pours everything into regrowing blade and lets the roots go shallow. Shallow roots dry out in July. Dried out grass thins. And thin grass, remember, means vacancies. The old fella who kept the ball field downtown taught me the fix in one sentence. He said he had run that mower on the highest notch for 40 years, and the field never had a weed worth bending over for. So here is what I want you to do. Walk out to your mower, find the deck height lever, the one with the notches, set it to the top notch or one down from the top. On most machines, that lands you between 3 and 3.5 inches. 3.5 inches. Yes, it looks shaggy the first week. By the third week, that lawn fills in thicker than you have seen it in years. I will get to the real reason why at the end, and I promise it is not what you think. Mistake number 2 follows right behind it. Even at the right height, you can take too much at once. The old groundskeepers had a rule they never broke, and today the university turf people agree with them word for word. Never cut off more than 1/3 of the grass blade in a single mowing. 1/3. So if your grass is standing 5 inches tall, you cut it back to about 3.5, no lower. And if you come home from 2 weeks of vacation to grass 6 or 7 inches tall, do not scalp it down in one angry pass. Cut 1/3 off. Wait 3 or 4 days. Then cut 1/3 again. Take your time. There is no prize for finishing in one afternoon. When you shear off half the plant in one go, you shock it. The roots stall, and the whole lawn sits there pale and stunned for a week while the weeds do their business. So let me gather that up before we move on. Deck at 3 to 3.5 inches, never more than 1/3 off at once, and tall grass comes down in stages. That handles the height, but it leaves you with a problem you cannot see from the seat of the mower. Mistake number 3 is the dull blade. Here is a little test for you this evening. Walk out and kneel down on the lawn you cut last weekend. Look close at the tips of the grass. If the tips are ragged and going white or brown, your blade is not cutting that grass. It is tearing it the way a dull chisel tears pine instead of shaving it. I spent 40 years at a workbench, so believe me when I tell you a dull edge ruins good material every time. Every torn tip is an open wound. The plant bleeds moisture out of it all day, and disease walks in through it. A whole lawn full of torn tips is a whole lawn running weak, and weak turf thins, and thin turf hangs that vacancy sign again. Earl sharpened his mower blade with a plain flat file, sitting on an upturned bucket, maybe once a month in the growing season. You do not need to match that. Twice a season will do it, once in spring and once around the 4th of July. A flat file runs about $10 at the hardware store, and it will last you the rest of your life. Or carry the blade in to the hardware store, and most of them will put an edge on it for a few dollars while you wait. $10 one time. Think about that for a second, against what a thin, torn-up lawn costs you in seed and spray. Now, the fourth thing is not a mistake with the mower. It is a mistake with the bag on the back of it. Stop bagging your clippings. I know, somebody told you clippings cause thatch, and I am telling you the old-timers never believed it and they were right. A fresh grass clipping is about 80% water. Leave the clippings where they fall and they melt back into the turf in a day or two. And as they break down, they feed the lawn free nitrogen, which is the main thing in that bag of fertilizer you paid $30 for. Over a season, clippings hand your lawn back a good share of its yearly feeding for nothing. The men who kept the finest grounds in this country never hauled their clippings to the curb. And those clippings do one more quiet job down at the soil line, a thin shade blanket laid right where it matters most. Hold that thought about shade, because we have just about arrived at the thing I promised you at the start. So here it is, neighbor. The reason mowing short fills your lawn with weeds, and it is happening in the top quarter inch of your soil right now. Under every square foot of your lawn, there are hundreds of weed seeds already sitting in the dirt. Some counts run into the thousands. Dandelion seeds that blew in years ago, crabgrass seed dropped by plants that died before you even owned the house. They are not dead, they are asleep, and some of them can stay asleep and alive for decades, waiting. And what they are waiting for is two signals: warmth and light. Crabgrass seed wakes up when the soil surface warms to around 55 to 60 degrees Fahrenheit and sunlight reaches it. That is 55 to 60 degrees, right at the surface. Many of your worst broadleaf weeds are the same way. The seed lies in that top quarter inch of soil like a man asleep in a dark bedroom, and sunlight on the soil is the light switch flipping on. Now, picture your lawn at 3.5 inches. Down at the dirt, it is dark as a forest floor, and on a 90-degree afternoon, that shaded soil surface runs a good 10 to 15 degrees cooler than bare ground. The seeds stay asleep. Now picture that same lawn scalped to 2 inches. Sunlight pours straight down between the thin blades and hits the dirt. The surface heats up. The light lands on 10,000 waiting seeds at once. And Wednesday morning, there are your dandelions. Your mower, my friend, is a light switch for every weed seed under your feet, and every time you cut short, you are flipping it on across the whole yard. That is why the jug never wins. The spray kills this year's tenants while your mowing keeps hanging the vacancy sign and lighting the lobby, mow tall, and the lawn shades out its own trouble before it ever sprouts. Now, I will be straight with you because the old fellas always were with me. Mowing tall will not kill the weeds already standing today. What it does is starve out the next generation, and the one after that, and inside a season or two, the thick, tall grass crowds out the stragglers on its own. Patient beats fast. It always did. And that right there is exactly the kind of thing the old fellas taught me. The book has 49 more just like it, laid out just as plain, from the soil secrets in part 1 to keeping green through drought and hard summers in part 3. It is $17, marked down from $47, and if it saves you a single jug of weed killer this summer, it has already paid for itself twice over. If you want yours to be the lawn folks slow down for, this is the cheapest road I know to get there. Now go ahead and grab your phone and open up your camera, the same one you use to take pictures. Point it at that square code on your screen and hold it steady for a second. A little link will pop up, give it a tap, and it will take you straight to the book. And if you are watching on your phone right now, the link is waiting for you right down below in the description. Take your time. There is no rush at all. I'll wait right here. So remember it plain. Mow at 3.5 inches, never take more than 1/3, keep the blades sharp, and leave the clippings where they fall, and you will keep the light switch off for good. Now, tell me in the comments what your lawn is fighting right now and what state you're in. I read every single one. And next time, I am going to show you Earl's coffee can trick, how that old fella patched a bare spot with nothing but a coffee can of seed and a scrap of board and had it green and growing in about 2 weeks flat. Keep that lawn thick and green, my friend, and I'll see you over the fence.